أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum to our viewers and listeners. This is study number 12 in the Ramadan Daily Quran studies for the year 2020. I am Zahid Aziz, who writes and delivers these studies. We're continuing this topic of the religious principles which were taught to the Israelites that the Holy Quran refers to. And we've now reached the sixth in this in this topic, the sixth of the series in this topic. And the title of this one is Explaining the Book to People. And we'll go back to a verse which we showed in study number 10, which is as follows. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وَإِذَا أَخَذَ اللَّهُ مِيثَاقَ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ لَتُبَيِّنُنَّهُ لِلنَّاسِ وَلَا تَكْتُمُونَهُ فَنَبَذُوهُ وَرَاءَ ظُهُورِهِمْ وَاشْتَرَوْا بِهِ ثَمَنًا قَلِيلًا فَبِئْسَ مَا يَشْتَرُونَ, which translates as, and when Allah took a covenant, a promise, from those who were given the book, you shall explain it to people and shall not hide it. But they threw it behind their backs and took a small price for it. And evil is what they do. Evil is what they buy. Chapter 3, verse 187. The small price that is mentioned here as being taken for throwing the book of Allah behind their backs, that small price has the following different forms. That small price that you earn can be leadership over the public, who then rely unquestioningly on the interpretation of the religious leaders. You gain that as a small price. Or they gain popularity with the public because instead of correcting them through the book of Allah, they are encouraging people to continue in their preconceived wrong beliefs. Then a third small price gained by throwing the book of Allah behind their backs was to earn their own livelihood through certain rituals and functions which people conduct in the name of religion. And at these functions and rituals, the cleric or the priest or the Maulvi is paid to perform some service. So for that small price, they throw the book of Allah behind their backs and don't tell people that those functions and rituals are in fact quite unnecessary and wasteful. The above verse says at the beginning, you shall explain it to people. The word for explain here is based on the word bayan. And it doesn't say here that you shall read it or recite it to people, but explain it to them. So its meaning must be conveyed to them. The Holy Prophet Muhammad ﷺ did all that he could to explain the teachings of Islam to people and to answer their questions. He acted according to the above command, which I repeat, you shall explain it to people and shall not hide it. He encouraged people to learn. In Sahih Bukhari, we read the following things. First, the first example is the Holy Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was talking to people when a man came and intruded into his talk by asking a question. The Prophet ﷺ ignored him and continued with his talk. People thought that either he had disliked the interruption or he hadn't heard the question. When the Holy Prophet finished his talk, he asked people, "Where is the man who asked that question?" The man said, "I am here." Then the Holy Prophet answered the question that he had asked. Another incident is that a stranger came to the Holy Prophet's mosque and asked people, "Which one of you is Muhammad?" When people pointed out the Prophet, the man said to him, "I'm going to ask you some questions, and I'm going to be hard on you in asking them, so do not be offended with me." The Prophet ﷺ was not offended by the man's attitude or by his words, and said to him, "Ask whatever occurs to you." And then the incident continues with the questions which the man asked about Islam and the Holy Prophet's replies. It also happened many times that after the Holy Prophet had been explaining something to people, he would say to them, "Those who are present must convey it to those who are absent." He instructed them in this way, those who were listening to him. So this shows that he wanted the widest circulation of what he was teaching people. Then we also learn from Sahih Bukhari that whatever you explain or teach, it should neither be boring to people nor make them run away from religion. It is reported by the Holy Prophet's companions that he, and I quote them here, he used to have consideration for us while preaching by selecting suitable times and dates, as he did not like that we should get bored. And also they reported him as saying, "Make it easy and do not make it difficult. Give people happy news and do not make them disenchanted or unhappy." So this is how you should convey teaching, in particular religious teaching, to people. It is also reported that when the Holy Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said anything, he would say it 3 times so that it was understood. It is of course not meant that the Holy Prophet used to repeat every statement that he made, but it was only in case of those statements about which he wanted to ensure that people understood them clearly. Now, as regards preservation of religious teachings, there was a Khalifa of Muslims, Umar bin Abdul Aziz, who ruled for perhaps 2 or 3 years at the end of the 1st century of Islam. He's also known as Umar II. He wrote in his instructions, and I quote them here, "People should disseminate knowledge and establish gatherings where knowledge is conveyed until those who have no knowledge have been taught. For surely knowledge does not disappear unless it is kept secret." Then we read in Bukhari about Hazrat Aisha Raziyallahu ta'ala anha, wife of the Holy Prophet, that whenever she heard anything from him which she did not understand, she would ask about it again and again till she understood it. Once women approached the Holy Prophet ﷺ and said to him, "Men have an advantage over us in approaching you," because men were with the Holy Prophet ﷺ a lot of the time, most of the time. So women said to him, men have an advantage over us in approaching you, so appoint for us a day on which you can teach us. That is to say, women. So the Holy Prophet promised them a day, he fixed for them a day on which he would meet them and teach them. Once, a companion of the Holy Prophet reports, the Holy Prophet, when he gave a khutbah, a sermon, he thought that women did not hear it. So he went to them especially and preached to them and exhorted them to give in charity. So thinking that women had not heard his sermon, the Holy Prophet ﷺ went to them especially to preach it. Now, sadly, let us do this comparison. On the one hand, the Holy Quran says, you shall explain it to people. You shall explain the book of Allah to people. And as we've just seen, the Holy Prophet ﷺ took special steps to preach to women. That is on the one hand. And on the other hand, many Muslims at nikah or wedding ceremonies don't allow any woman, including the bride, to be present there to listen to her own nikah sermon. So you can do that very sad comparison between what the Quran taught and what the Holy Prophet ﷺ did on the one hand, and what is a widespread practice amongst Muslims on the other hand. On many occasions, after preaching something, the Holy Prophet would ask, he would ask people, have I conveyed the message? Hal balagto. It wasn't only on one occasion, which a lot of people know about, but on several occasions, he asked them, have I conveyed the message? And many a time he would raise his hands and ask Allah the same, that, oh Allah, have I conveyed the message to people? This famously happened, as most people know, at the farewell pilgrimage, which was the last and in fact the only Hajj performed by the Holy Prophet ﷺ. He said the same, have I conveyed the message? And according to one hadith, after he said to people, have I, or addressed Allah saying, have I conveyed the message? People replied, yes. So the Holy Prophet said, O Allah, bear witness. In other words, be witness that I've conveyed the message and people have confirmed that they heard it. So this is the end of study number 12. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.